Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Love It to Shove It. This is the talk show about love and relationships and how do we actually develop the better connection with ourselves so then we can have a better connection with our partners. And welcome if you're just scrolling and you happen to tune in to this talk show. My name is Irina Portnova, and I'm all about how do we manifest and attract the best match. And that's exactly what I love to help people with. And I'm here with my co host, Bruno Gill. Bruno?
Yes. Well, hi everybody. My name is Bruno. I am a self-love coach. I work primarily with women, in order for them to become obviously more confident, more authentic, have more self-esteem, be more expressive, and yeah, obviously go after what they desire, which is why we work on our confidence, right? So yeah.
Hmm. And today we have a fun topic because have you ever told yourself, I'll bring it up when the timing feels right, or I'll tell them how I feel once I'm sure, or I'll make the first move if I know it won't end in rejection? What if
Uh-huh.
the certainty is actually that you are waiting for is the very thing keeping your relationship from growing? Because so many of us believe we need all the answers before we take the next step. And we wait for the perfect moment, the perfect sign, or the perfect feeling. But relationships don't grow because people have certainty. They grow because people have the courage to have the conversation, ask the question, and take the next step together. So, today we are going to explore why waiting for certainty may feel safe, but it could also be costing you the connection you are looking for. And I want to start by saying that why certainty is actually the illusion, but clarity comes through action. Because life rarely handles us, give us the complete certainty, especially when it comes to relationship. And I love because relationship is like very flexible area of life. You can never be 100% certain. You just kind of take the journey and see what's unfolding, but you don't know exactly how someone will respond when you tell them you love them. You don't know how they'll answer when you ask, where do you see the relationship going? You do
Mm,
not know if they'll say yes or no, or I need time. But
mm,
here is what you know: you'll never have clarity if you never ask.
mm,
So the idea is be more courageous to
mm,
ask the question, because
mm,
imagine standing at the edge of a hiking trail. You
mm,
can't see the entire path because the trees block your view.
mm,
Does that mean there is no trail? Of course not. You just discover the path by taking the next step. So relationship actually works the same way. You take the step, you take the leap of faith, and you actually become brave by asking the question. So the next honest conversation reveals the next part of that journey. And I have a great tool, the relationship tool. It's instead of asking, how do I become certain? Ask, what's the next honest step I can take?
mm.
Because clarity always happens when we are more courageous. Bruno?
Mm. Yeah, 100%. Like this is something that like the younger generation, like my generation, right? Like my generation, the younger generation, like really needs to understand because like guys don't do anything because they're afraid of being rejected,
Mm-hmm.
or then like guys do something and then they're like, oh, now it's her turn, and then they're like, well, he kind of did something. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, bro, like you're treating it like it's like it's the Super Bowl. Like you're treating this like it's like it's a NASA like launch. Like you're not going to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, relax. It's just one foot in front of the other. Hello, how are you? You okay? Yes, I'm okay. Awesome, good for you. How did you sleep? Like something normal. Like, but the thing is, like, sometimes there's so much shit that happens before because one person wants to do something in a way, but the other person has never seen things happening that way. And then now the other person's like, yeah, but maybe I should have done that because I myself don't even know what to do anyway. So I should have just followed this lead, but now I don't know what to do. And if I don't do anything, it's not going to come to me. And I've been in situations like that. I've been there. I've been there. I know exactly what it is. It's a mess and it's a loop of shit that, it just doesn't. And it's a loop and it's a loop and it just keeps repeating itself until eventually one person just breaks that loop and things can start like kind of like unfold, I guess. Like one step at a time, one decision at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. No rushing, no nothing, just all chilling, all calm and collective. Just there's no strings attached. Because I feel like for me, like when it comes to like waiting for certainty, right? So I have to be certain on what I do. I have to be certain on the way I approach them. I have to make sure that this does work, that this cannot fail. But look, you're not talking to a robot. When you approach someone, no matter how perfect, you can say the most perfect thing. You can even respect their time, their space. If they want to say no still, they will still say no. There's nothing you can do about it. This is not about what you say or how you say it. This is even about how receptive the person has to be receptive to your energy in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if the person is in a mood, or if the person is this, or if the person is that, and when I mean is this or that is, if the person is not having a good day, if the person is not feeling in the mood for it, maybe they don't even reject you, or maybe they don't even say, maybe they even say no, no maybe it has nothing even to do with you. You can have to something to deal with them, you know. But the problem is that then people they internalize, oh, maybe it's my fault. If he didn't do anything wrong, it can't be your fault. It has to be something with the person herself or himself that is not really adding up, right? And so, you know, there is no certainties in life. In life there's no certainties. Look, I'm a self-love coach, yeah, but I also do sales. I do both. I love doing both. I love doing both, right? And I also do sales. I can 100% have the most. I can have the perfect pitch with a perfect tonality, know what to say, use the right trigger words, just make them feel amazing. I've done that before, and people still said no. What can I do about it? Is it my fault? Maybe, but how much? How much is it my fault? To what extent is it my fault that no matter how good I sound or how pure my intentions are, or the fact that I just actually want to support them. And in this case, when you're approaching someone, then you probably just want to show them a good time and just merely and wholly get to know them. If they still say no, what have you done wrong? You haven't done nothing wrong. You made your move, right? You cannot put in your head, oh, but if I make my move, they have to say yes. Oh, but then never make a move. Then never, then never make the move because they'll say no, and they'll like, oh my god, they said no. Like, bro, it's normal. I think there's no certainty in life, and if things don't go the way you want, you have to understand your value. You have to know who you are, how you are, what you are, and you have to understand that regardless of who they are, it is your, it is, you can only win with that. That person doesn't want, fuck them. Someone better comes. The end. Period. Whatever. That's it. Because what's the opposite of that? You're gonna bang your head on the wall, because what you thought you were so certain about like didn't work out, bro. Tough shit. Whatever. Who cares? Because like I guess we gotta have compassion for ourselves. We have to have compassion for ourselves in the sense of like life goes on, you carry on, you move. It's just a no, whatever. Like if they said yes, If they said yes and then they reject you after, it'd be worse, right? And then because if you're so certain about what to say and that works, right? Then you'd be like, okay, so now it actually has to work, and you'd be even more certain. And then they'd say no, then it'd be worse. So it's not that bad, anyways, right? Like, things are the way they are. It's not about how perfect you sound or how certain you are of how things go. A lot of times it's just how receptive the other person is. It's just how receptive they are. Simple. This is why it's
Mhm.
important to, again, if you truly want to be certain about something, you have to, for me, this is the way I see it, you have to align the odds. Okay? Like, is this person having a good day? Yes. Okay, great. Fantastic. Are we in an environment where the person will feel safe enough to be asked or to be approached? Yes. Okay, fantastic. Do I know what to say? Okay, yes, fantastic. If all these things like correlate together, then you know it's only more and more and more and more reasons on why you should do it. But if the person is having a bad day and having a bad mood, no. If the person is in an environment where it's not really being prone, like there's a lot of distractions, there's this, there's that, also no, of course. And if you're not sure about what to say, which then again is not even the worst, if you're not sure about what to say, I'm sure you'll pull something out of your head. That's fine, whatever. Um, that's not even the worst, right? Energetically speaking, way more important than whatever comes out of your mouth. Way more important, right? The person has to be having a good day. The person has to be in a receptive energy. If the person's not in a receptive energy, it becomes very, very hard. It becomes very tough. If the person's already stressed, it becomes tough, right? So, um, but then again, even with all these options that you can weigh, it's still not certain. The person can still say no, you know and that's the thing. Like, the person could give you like a stupid reason on why they say no, right? Not even a valid one. They could just say something stupid, right? And then you're like, oh, well, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Irregardless of what sense or not sense it makes, irregardless of whatever it is, a no is a no. The a person who generally wants, a person who's generally curious about you or wants to get to know more about you, right, would just simply say yes. Simple. So
Mhm.
simple. Yeah.
Hey, Crystalline, it's great to have you with us. Yay!
Fine.
What would love to for you to chime in with your wisdom. So totally hear everything what you're sharing, Bruno. So let's move. I wanted to talk a little bit about again. If we never ask, the answer is always no. That's for sure. And then again, we are learning to be courageous to ask, even when we are afraid, right?
Mm,
Because just staying in our overthinking creates stories that reality has never confirmed. For instance, when we do not know exactly what the person is going to tell us, our minds don't like that uncertainty. So when that information is missing, we start creating our own explanation. Imagine our partner takes longer than usual to reply to our text. And what happens? There are all of different stories starting to pop up. And we are saying, oh my God, they lose the interest. They're upset with me. I must have said something wrong. And meanwhile, they maybe have the meeting, or maybe they have the phone call that's important. Maybe they're just driving home. So nothing happened except our imagination filled in the blanks. And
mm,
that's exactly what overthinking is doing to people, right? So it's not actually giving us the answer, it gives us the stories. And again, the only way to find out the real true answer is to ask.
mm,
Otherwise, whatever the way that the person behaves, the way that the person interact with us, it's all our assumption, because until we actually sit down and ask clear questions, we wouldn't know exactly what people mean. And again, not everybody is honest as well. Some people do not even know how to be honest and say the truth for
mm,
whatever reasons. But again, it just you got to deal with what you got to deal, right?
mm,
And you do the best in the circumstances you are, because avoiding the conversation actually delays the very answer you might be looking for. Because sometimes we avoid conversations because we are afraid that the partner is not going to hear us, right?
mm,
But avoiding that conversation often creates more uncertainty than the answer itself.
mm,
So when we think about dating someone for a year and you want to know whether they see a future together,
mm,
instead of asking, you are waiting. Weeks before starting coming into months, months coming into the years. And the question never disappears, it simply grows heavier. So, whether the answer is yes or no, or let's talk about it, you'll have something valuable. You want
mm,
to have the clarity. So, healthy relationships aren't built by avoiding uncomfortable conversations. Actually, I feel that that's exactly how our true essence comes through when people are not afraid to have these uncomfortable conversations and
mm,
actually sit through, not reacting, but actually holding the space, allowing the other person. Because again, it's the whole beautiful skill to be
mm,
able to have the conversation,
mm,
because there are people who can't hear the truth. They might just like leave the room or hang up the phone, whatever it is, right?
mhm,
So two people have to be ready in order to, if they want the relationship to grow, to
mm,
be open and to learn to communicate better, because communication skill is the biggest foundation for healthy relationship.
mm,
And a lot of times vulnerability might feel risky, because if somebody thinks, oh my god, I'm just going to express my heart to that person, and that person is just going to just brush me off and just kind of um, ignoring what actually important to me. But again, if we never open up, we
mm,
would never be able to know the truth, right? So what is
mm,
the point of lingering and just playing the hide and seek when we can actually approach and be honest about it and be
mm,
straightforward about it, right? So
yeah,
again, opening your heart is one of the bravest things you'll ever do.
mm,
That means risking disappointment, that means risking misunderstanding, risking the rejection, but it also creates the possibility of deeper love.
mm,
So think about someone who never tells their partner what they truly need because they are too scared of being too much. And years later, they realize they spent the relationship hoping their partner would magically figure it out. Or for someone who never says, I love you, not because they don't feel it, but because they are waiting for the other person to go first. So sometimes the greatest heartbreak isn't the rejection, it's actually wondering what might have happened if you had been honest, right? So
mm,
again, practice sharing one honest feeling before it becomes overwhelming.
mm,
And we got to start from somewhere. If you were never that person who expresses themselves, just,
mm,
think about it. It's the time. You
mm,
always have to start, and there is no better time than now.
mm, yeah, fact.
Bruno, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. There's no better time to start than now. The
Mm-hmm.
more you delay, the more you delay, the more you delay the obvious, the more the obvious becomes difficult. Right? because you're gonna get in
Mm-hmm.
your own head over and over and over and over again, right? And maybe you'll be like, oh my god, I know. But then you're like, oh yeah, but what about this? It's like, what the fuck? You were just so excited. What happened? Just rock with that. Rock with that. You're looking for certainty. You're looking for perfection. If you do that, you're never going to do anything in your life. You're never going to do anything in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Something simple. I have said this to people over and over and over again. People are like, well, they came to you, right? Yeah, sure. Okay, awesome. Fantastic. Great. So what about you? Yeah, but I'm not gonna go to them and say just something stupid. I'm gonna look like a clown, and I'm like, do you really believe that if the person that you really want, do you really believe that if the person is really for you, the person is gonna be like, oh, I can't believe you said that, or the person is gonna think like you're a clown? No, the person won't even give a shit. The person, look, if a person is really meant for you, the person doesn't even care about what you're even saying. The person just wants to be around your energy. They don't even care. They don't even care. Simple. Like, the more you want to perform for the person that you desire, the worse. Because you're not letting them see you for who you are, number one. And then you're not letting them, right, appreciate the effort that you're trying to put, number two. And then finally, you're not like, you're not letting them appreciate your presence. Like, just if you get too much in your head, you're never going to do anything in your life, right? You look, failure is worse when you don't even try. It's worse. Like, what's the point of living if every single time you're going to be like, oh, but what if? What if I did and they said yes? You know, what's the point? Like, what? Like, why would you live with a what if? Fuck that, right? Like, you'll never really be able. I don't believe you'll ever really be able to move on from someone if you never even get the chance to ask them, because that possibility will always be there. This is why I don't do what ifs. Rejected, not rejected, I don't give a shit. To be fair, I like being rejected. I do sales. So eventually you fall in love with it. Eventually you fall in love with rejection when you're dialing like 100 to 200 numbers every single day, and people are like, no, go fuck yourself, no, bye, no, fuck you, no, fuck this, no, stop calling me. And eventually, like, well, who cares? Sip my fucking coffee and we go again. And eventually you get it. And with love, when you're approaching people, it's the same thing. No, I have a boyfriend. No, I have this. No, I have that. No, I can't. No, I'm too busy. I don't care. No, bye. No, I don't want to work out with you. No, I don't want to do this. Okay, fine. You're off. 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 But eventually, one person, man or woman, they will say yes. And then when they say yes, they are your type, you know, it still does not mean that they want something with you, because now you're building something with them. You're just seeing where it takes, right? But after so much shit, you finally got someone to say yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do that, it goes slowly but surely. You don't put all your cards at the table at once, because you just scare them off, unless they like that, unless there's somebody like that. And then you just see how it goes. But look, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but like, that's so true. Like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Simple. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Not asking is also a no. So that's it. Period. Like, and another thing that I'd say is, you need, like, This might sound fucked up, but you need to be rejected more. Like you need to, like you can't be afraid of a no. Like it's a word that makes you feel bad. Who cares? Like whatever. Like you can't be afraid of a no. But what if they say no? Well, come on. If they say no, they say no. Next, we you move on. Whatever. Simple. It's like you can't be afraid of people telling you no. Like you're 5 years old and you didn't get your favorite toy. Like honestly, I mean it. I don't want to be rude or offensive or judgy or anything. That's not the point. But I mean it honestly from my heart. I mean it. You can't be afraid of being told no. Like you're 5 years old and you didn't get your favorite toy. Like I mean it honestly from the bottom of my heart. I mean it because that's part of life. That's part of life. People get rejected every day. From jobs, from love, money. You move on, right? You crack on. You crack on with your life. All right, it's fine, no problem. Scratch it off. Doesn't matter. Next. Simple. You want, you want. You don't want. You're in the way of my future wife. You're in the way of my future husband. Fuck off. From goodbye. That's it. Wish you the fucking best. Great for you. I'm gonna get better. Don't care. That's it. Simple. I honestly believe if you move like that in your life, I think you'll be more than fine. You worked for me, so I'll give a shit. Well, for like lots of things, work related, money related, family related. It's just because you gotta crack on with your life. Like it hurts. Of course it hurts. Like it hurts when you really want someone. It hurts when you really want somebody. It hurts, right? It just does. But ultimately, there's so much that you can control, right? There's so much that you can really control in regards to your energy, in regards to how you value yourself, control yourself, in the way that you obviously show yourself, the way you are, the way you appear towards the world, the way you approach the world, the way you approach people as well. There's so much you can do, and all you can do is for yourself, right? You cannot control if somebody's going to say no, and you cannot control if somebody's going to say yes. You can't. So, my advice is get rejected more, become comfortable with it, and learn to deal with that feeling, right? And learn to deal with that feeling so much that when somebody does say yes, you're like, oh shit, you actually said yes. Like, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised and you like it. And you know the best thing about it? You know the best thing about it? The best thing about it is that you'll be surprised. And because you've been rejected so much, you'll know how to value that yes. Because we only know how to value the things we don't have that much. And that's how
Mhm.
you value what you don't have that much. That's when you know how to value it. So if you get no a bunch of fucking times and then you get a yes, you're like, oh fuck, I'm really gonna do my best, like to really be fucking nice, because it took me a long time to get this yes, so I'm gonna keep this shit, right? No, for real, like I swear. And you'll know how to value it as well. So again, my advice is number one, get rejected more times and be comfortable with it. Number two, number two, um, number two, again, like you'll know more how to value it as well than when you get that yes, right? And then number three, again, like you can't be afraid of like being rejected, but then again, that ties to number one, where you need to get rejected a little bit more times. Obviously, in order for you to be okay with that feeling, to be fine with it, it is what it is. That's life. You crack on, you move. Simple. And there's no certainties as well. There's no certainties. There's no such thing as certain stuff. No matter how perfect you are, if they want to say no, they'll say no regardless. Trust me. Just
All
approach.
right.
Just move.
Can I just wrap it up?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so I just wanted to say that why healthy relationships are built by people willing to move forward before they have all the answers. Because every lasting relationship is filled with moments where someone had to choose courage over certainty, moving in together, meeting each other's families, planning a future, saying, I am willing to work through this. And none of those moments come with guarantees. Healthy couples don't wait until fear completely disappears. They acknowledge the fear, they choose the relationship anyway, not recklessly, not blindly, but intentionally. Because love grows through participation, not hesitation. And the strongest relationships aren't built by people who never doubt. They are built by people who choose courage over certainty that isn't available, because love isn't about knowing exactly how the story ends. It's about trusting each other enough to write that next chapter together. So maybe the question isn't, am I saddened? But maybe it's, am I willing to take that next honest step? And this is something that I wanted to close with. So this way you can just ponder upon that question for yourself. And whether you want to share with us, we will be happy to hear from you, or you just want to sit with that question for yourself and be honest with yourself. Um,
Mm.
as we mentioned, there is no better time than now, and just start from today and just start like really pondering, start asking yourself these questions, because these questions are going to guide you to something beautiful, to something that you might been even afraid to explore. But that's beautiful, because again, this is the whole point of the journey of life. If we are not courageous enough, or we are not actually living, we are just existing to kind of, balancing on something that maybe not even good for us to stay on. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Please share this episode if it resonates with you, if you know somebody who might benefit from it, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we'll see you in 2 weeks with another great topic. And if you have any questions, or if you have any topics you would love us to talk about, just let us know. Or if you want to be the guest on our talk show, we'll be happy to have the conversation with you. Thank you so
Mm.
much, and see you next time.